Crazy God story. Recently, I drove my daughter across the country to start her new job and her new life. On the way home, I was going through New Orleans and I stopped at a store to get something to drink. Now, I'm constantly trying to talk to people about Jesus, so when I went to pay for my drink, I told the lady that worked there, hey, in case nobody told you today, Jesus loves you. She was like, oh, thanks. I know he loves you too. And then I asked her, so you know Jesus? She goes, oh yeah, I got saved when I was a little kid. We stood there and talked for a few minutes, and I found out that even though this woman had genuinely gotten saved when she was a kid, like she heard the gospel, she believed it, she put her faith in Jesus, that after that, nobody had ever talked to her about what it looked like to actually follow Jesus. Like, she didn't know the importance of reading the Bible or going to church or being around other believers or spending time in prayer or anything like that. I stayed there with her for the next 15 minutes, just talking to her about what it looks like to follow Jesus and to live in a relationship with God. And she was blown away. She was kind of heartbroken that she had never heard any of that stuff, that nobody had ever shared it with her in the entire 50 some odd years that she had been saved. Now, I'm excited because even though this lady has missed out on a ton, she is ready to take the next step forward and actively start following Jesus. And the rest of her life is going to be completely different. She will start experiencing God in ways she never even imagined or thought possible. Something that breaks my heart is there are way too many Christians that are just like this woman. They're saved and they may go to church and read the Bible once in a while, but they really aren't following Jesus and they don't know how, and they're struggling to understand what God's will and plan and purpose for their life is. Now, at the end of the Gospels, Jesus gave us this thing called the Great Commission. In Matthew 28, Jesus told his disciples to go into the entire world and to make more disciples, teaching people to do all the things that he taught them to do. At the time, he was only speaking to a very small group of his followers. However, his command was for them to teach other people the exact same things. That means that everybody that they taught how to follow Jesus was supposed to teach other people how to follow Jesus. You see, God isn't looking for us just to have a personal, private relationship with him or just to go to church on Sundays. He's looking for us to follow Jesus and to teach other people how to follow Jesus. A relationship with God isn't just reading the Bible and spending time in prayer. Part of a relationship with God is getting involved with him, doing the kinds of things that Jesus did, like spending time with him in that way. If you want to take your relationship with God to the next step, start teaching other people how to follow Jesus. And if you're not sure what that looks like, go to a leader in your church and ask them to connect you with somebody that can teach you how to follow Jesus. If you're not somewhere in that process of discipleship, you're completely missing out on God's will for your life.